أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Inshallah, today we are going to talk about Surah Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah was named Al-Baqarah because of the story of the cow that came in this particular surah. The story of the cow was never repeated anywhere in the Quran except the one that was mentioned in this particular surah, Surah Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah was revealed after the hijrah of the noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hence, this particular surah is Madaniyah. When we say a surah is Madaniyah, it means this particular surah was revealed after the migration of the noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Mecca to Medina. And when we say a particular surah is Makkiyah, it means that particular surah was revealed before the migration of the noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Mecca to Medina. So what we use to determine whether a surah is Makkiyah or Madaniyah is Hijrah, not the town the particular surah is revealed. So if the surah was revealed before Hijrah, is Makkiyah. When it is revealed after Hijrah, is Madaniyah, and not whether or not it was revealed in Mecca or Medina. Surah Al-Baqarah has 286 verses per the calculation of the people of Kufa. It also reported that the people of Makkah calculate Surah Al-Baqarah to have 285 verses, and the people of Basra calculate that it has 287 verses. So in a nutshell, Surah Al-Baqarah has 286 verses per the calculation of the people of Kufa. There are numerous virtues in the recitation of Surah Al-Baqarah. When you recite Surah Al-Baqarah in your home, shayateen and jinns flew away from that particular house. So shaitan and major jinns who are evil cannot stay in any home in which Surah Al-Baqarah is being recited. We can find that in the hadith of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, which was reported by Sheikh Nasiruddin Al-Albani in his As-Sahihah, hadith number 588. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also referred to Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Al-Imran as the bright ones. So Surah Al-Baqarah is light as far as its recitations are concerned. Third, Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Al-Imran will come on the day of Qiyamah as clouds to intercede for its reciters, or it is going to come on the day of Qiyamah as a flock of bears in ranks pleading for the reciters of Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Al-Imran. Surah Al-Baqarah was referred by the noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be a blessing for its reciters and a grief for those who abandon Surah Al-Baqarah. Hadith of Abu Umama al-Bakhili, which was reported by Imam Muslim, also states that magicians cannot confront Surah Al-Baqarah. So if one recites Surah Al-Baqarah, certainly magicians cannot have evil effect on the life of that particular individual. The main message of Surah Al-Baqarah is to build a community that tends towards the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and distance itself from idol worshipping. Surah Al-Baqarah focuses much on the social lives of the Muslim because it was revealed in the early days of the noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina after he migrated from Mecca. So Surah Al-Baqarah gave more attention to Sharia, to the laws and the rulings, how to build a vibrant Islamic state. So Surah Al-Baqarah has a lot of laws as far as its verses are concerned because it was revealed in the early days of the noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina. Surah Al-Baqarah also talks about the divisions of humanity. It talks about the Muslims, it talks about the disbelievers, and it talks about the hypocrites. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from among the true Muslims and not the hypocrites. Surah Al-Baqarah also talks about the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has bestowed upon humanity since the creation of Adam alayhi salam till our present days. Surah Al-Baqarah also brought the story of the creation of Adam alayhi salam and the disobedience of shaitan towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala outcasted shaitan from Jannah to this world. Surah Al-Baqarah has a lot of rulings in it, as we mentioned earlier. Some of the rulings that we can find in Surah Al-Baqarah include Qisas. It talks about Wasiyah. Surah Al-Baqarah talks about fasting. Surah Al-Baqarah talks about Hajj. Surah Al-Baqarah talks about marital life. It talks about monetary issues, businesses, loans, interest. All these can be found in Surah Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah also talks about swearing. Surah Al-Baqarah talks about charity. It talks about intoxicants and alcoholism. Surah Al-Baqarah talks about the welfare of orphans. Surah Al-Baqarah also has its verses talking about the rulings relating to women, which is iddah, divorce, and also breastfeeding. So Surah Al-Baqarah is an embodiment of social life. It talks about our entire social life in a nutshell, and also more rulings as far as Islamic jurisprudence is concerned. We have a lot of verses in Surah Al-Baqarah, as we state in the theme of this particular videos, a journey through the Quran. So we select just a single verse and talk about it, so that we call it a day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in verse 152 in Surah Al-Baqarah, He mentioned that فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرُكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لِي وَلَا تَكْفُرُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, remember me, I will remember you. And be gratitude to me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and do not be ungrateful to me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So showing gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a must, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed countless favors upon humanity since the creation of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam to our present days. So it is also Islamically not allowed to show ungratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because whenever we show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He increases His favors upon us. It is also recommended to always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our prayers and in our glorification. So we remember him in prayers and glorification. A great scholar by name Al-Hasan al-Basri mentioned in interpreting this particular verse, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرُكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لِي وَلَا تَكْفُرُونِ. He mentioned that اذْكُرُونِي فِيمَا افْتَرَضْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ أَذْكُرُكُمْ فِيمَا أَوْجَبْتُ لَكُمْ عَلَى نَفْسِي. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that remember me, I'll remember you. What it means is that remember me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, upon what I have made mandatory upon you, like observing salah, going for hajj, observing your fast, and all the mandatory actions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made mandatory upon us. When we remember to do them as prescribed by the noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah will also remember us upon what He has made mandatory upon Himself for us, which is granting us Jannah after our life in this surface of the earth. Respected brothers and sisters in Iman, it was also reported that Sa'id ibn Jubair mentioned that Uzkuruni bito'ati. Remember me in my obedience. When you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in obedience, Azkurukum bimaghfirati. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also remember you in His forgiveness. In another narration, it's not bimaghfirati, it is rather birahmati. When you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in obedience, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also remember you in His favors and mercy. What it means is that when you obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also compensate you greater than what you did, as it was reported by Abdullah ibn Abbas that he mentioned that dhikrullahi iyyakum, the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you, akbaru min dhikrikum iyyah, it is greater than your remembrance towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what it means is that whenever we remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in worship, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also remember us as far as the compensation for those worship are concerned. So it is mandatory upon every Muslim to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is certainly the merciful Lord who will have mercy upon him when he spend his time in worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Due to our video duration, وبهذا القدر كفاية والله تعالى أعلم وأحكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.